Hey there, BNI Maine, Niels Menke, Executive Director. So this week's topic is about the dreaded word subs. What is a substitute? Well, I did a little researching on this because I've had a lot of questions recently on what makes a good substitute, what makes a bad substitute, what makes a horrible substitute, what makes a substitute that just makes you want to cringe. There's all kinds of subs out there. So I did a little research. I dig into some of Ivan's podcasts and find out why was the substitute policy even brought into BNI in the first place? We all know accountability and attendance is a massive piece of BNI. So why a substitute anyway? Why do we even allow substitutes? Why did he develop a substitute policy? And in doing some digging, I found out some information I didn't even realize myself. The substitute policy was created for you. It was developed for the members. It was developed for the member who could not make the meeting because of a conflict. We all know we have conflicts in our life. We all have things that come up. We have customers that demand our attention. We have families, everything that happens. So a substitute can be brought in. Now, the original thinking behind this was the substitute was there for you. They're there to represent you, bring value to the meeting, and bring value to your BNI team, your chapter, so that your absence does not hurt the chapter, does not hurt your business. That's the original intent. That is the intent of a substitute policy, is to allow your business to be represented while you're not there by somebody good at representing it. Now, what makes a good sub? A sub is somebody who knows or works with you. A client is the best sub. Somebody that knows your business, somebody that knows, the ins and outs of what you do, that can speak and be a testimonial person for you. That's a great sub. That brings value to the meeting, that brings value to the chapter, and it brings value to that person because the person is speaking on behalf of you and it reflects on them as a person. So the intent behind the substitute policy was not to just have a warm body in the room that could say, hey, I know this person and read 60 seconds off a phone. That was not the intent of a sub policy. That's kind of what it's turned into. It's turned into a very loosey-goosey way of making sure you don't get an absence for the week. But is that really good for you? Is it really good for the chapter? And is it really good for the substitute? The answer is no to all three of those. It's really not good for any of the three. Your business is not represented well if it's not a good substitute. The chapter does not benefit at all if it's not a good substitute. And that substitute is actually not helping themselves by not being a good substitute. So you're harming their reputation as well. So let's talk about the intent behind the substitute policy. Let's talk about how it works and what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. If you need a substitute, best thing to do is reach out to someone who knows you, somebody who's worked with you, somebody in your company. If you can't find somebody in your company, you can't find a client or somebody that knows you on a personal level, there's other places to go for subs, but those are the best subs you should be looking for. The people that can truly give you a testimonial to your products and your services. That's powerful. That is representing you. They're there to represent you. The sub is not there to represent their own business. Now, if you look back and you listen to Dr. Adams' podcast, number 386, which is also rebroadcasted as number 533, you'll hear the intent behind the sub policy and why the intent is not for them to talk about their business. That is a visitor. A visitor comes in, they can talk about their business. Now, you have a lot of people that say a visitor is a sub. A sub can be both a visitor and a sub. Yes, they can. You are 100% correct. They can come in and visit twice. And if they're subbing, they can visit twice and talk about their business twice. By allowing that visitor to talk about their business 3, 4, 5, 6 infinite times, you've created a serial sub, somebody who's not representing themselves well or the chapter well and is having no benefit to the chapter. They're essentially getting a free BNI membership, and they're what we call a serial sub, and it's called BNI Light. Somebody that's not giving benefit to the chapter because there's no accountability there, there's no relationships being built. They're just there for themselves. They're not there for the chapter. It's totally in the gain, not in the give. So 100% policy 7 says visitors can only speak 2 times without a commitment. Same thing goes for a sub. If you're treating them like a visitor and letting them speak about their business 2 times. That is the official policy, number 7, BNI. That's where the differentiation is. However, there's chapters that don't allow the subs to speak at all. The benefit to the sub to being in your meeting is that they get to open network with people, they get to build relationships and talk to people and have the communication and see what BNI is all about. And you're going to get way more commitment from them if they want to come back and be part of the meeting if they're not getting it free. If you're feeling guilty and you're feeling like, oh, I gotta let, they're doing my member a favor, they're subbing for them, I gotta let them speak twice. After that, they're in it just to get a free BNI membership, and that's not fair to your chapter. That's not fair to anybody anywhere. Would you give your product away for free? Probably not. Don't do that to your members either. So subs, 100%, really great for your business, but don't just pick anyone. Can you? Yes. Should you? No. Find somebody that can represent your business well. Sometimes subs can be better than you. Okay, they're better because if you have a sub that's a great client of yours, they're going to talk about you in ways that you can't talk about yourself without looking full of yourself. They're going to sing your praises. They're going to make you look amazing. They're going to do an amazing job representing you. That's the idea of a sub. Plan your subs out. Try to get people that are going to be amazing. Get clients, get fellow workers at your company. Make sure your sub is somebody that's beneficial to you, not just somebody that's reading off a text message you sent them 60 seconds. And set your subs up for success. If you're using a sub, make sure they can report on your activity for the week too. If you're on leadership, make sure they can talk to the leadership team and get your part covered. It's amazing how sub can come in and fill a positive quote person. You're the positive quote person. Make sure you're giving them tools to make sure the sub looks good too, because they're there to represent you, they're there to represent your business, but a byproduct of them being there is they're representing themselves as a person too, and you want to make sure they look good as well. So that's my tip this week, the proper use of subs, the reason behind it. I encourage you to go listen to 386, 533, 387. One of them is in the networker below. Please take a listen to those and listen to the intent behind the sub policy and the why behind it, because I know we all feel the need to try to help a sub out because they're doing us a favor, but you're really doing them a favor in making the introduction to your chapter of 20, 30, 40, 50 members. That in itself is a huge favor. They don't talk about their business every single week and get BNI Light for free. So think about your chapter, think about what you can do to grow that part of your chapter, because if you have a sub that comes in and subs for all your members, by the way, that's the worst sub ever. The sub that subs a sub list or sub that subs for anybody that wants to come in is essentially a member of your chapter taking up that seat without the commitment or the dues or any of that part that goes along with it that makes them serious. So they're not really bringing stuff to your chapter because there's no accountability for them whatsoever. So bring somebody into that role that can have the accountability, can actually help your chapter on a daily basis. Find subs that can help you. Thanks so much for listening this week. Everybody have an amazing week and happy networking.